It gets used both those ways. And one of the interesting things is that this law, where they said that that your days may be long, that same reward is given for honoring your mother and father, for observing the whole Torah. So it's a really important rule, to have that same status. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. If I skip text 12, 13, and 14, would those people be upset? Keepers of 12, 13, and 14? You guys okay with that? Okay. In the very beginning of the Torah, humanity is given dominion over the animals. As it says in text 16 from Genesis 1:26. Who is that one?
I do. God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the sky, and over the cattle, and over all the eretz."
That's the land, sorry.
What?
The eretz means land.
And over every creeping thing that creeps on the eretz.
Okay. So we're given dominion over the animals, but when we read it in the context of all these other laws that we've read, what is that dominion supposed to be like? Stewardship. Who said that? Stewardship. Can you just say a little bit more about that?
You're supposed to take care of them. You're not supposed to use them or abuse them.
Right. Anyone want to build on that at all? Okay. So we're allowed, the Torah allows us to use animals. We use parchment to write the Torah. The Torah is written on animal skin. We use parchment in our mezuzahs. We use a shofar, a ram's horn. Tefillin are made out of leather. So it's not that we're not allowed to use animals, but we're supposed to use them respectfully and reverently. And last year, my whole sermon on Rosh Hashanah was about slaughtering animals as a sacred act, as opposed to one of just killing animals and eating them, and how eating in general can be sacred versus just eating. And also, so anyway, so lots to think about with this. And somebody asked some questions about vegetarianism, which is, in Judaism, is actually held up as the highest form of kashrut. And that the idea is that ultimately in the Messianic age, the lion and the lamb will lie down together because they won't be killing each other. And we won't need to kill animals either in the Messianic age. That's kind of set forward as a goal ultimately. But in the meantime, we're allowed to eat burgers. Eat them respectfully. So with that, we'll do a little Havdalah service.